You want to close her out here?
Oh, I absolutely do, Mr. Chairman. It was regrettable, and I would say it was offensive. Seeing as I'm the only one in the room here really talking about opposition, that you would play the race card, that you would say opposition to Obamacare necessarily must stream from some inherent racism. Very offensive. But listen, my opposition to health care has nothing to do with the race of President Obama. My opposition to this health care law, by the way, which was passed on a 100% totally partisan basis. You talk about major piece of legislation. The way it used to work in this country is something this major would normally be done in a bipartisan fashion where you'd actually accommodate the other person's views. That is not what happened with this law.
Senator, there was no accommodation. There was no accommodation.
It was passed on a purely partisan basis. But my objection to the health care law is, first of all, if you don't know my story, is my daughter was saved by this health care system that was supposedly so terrible. My daughter was born with a congenital heart defect. Her aorta and pulmonary artery reversed. First day of life, one of those greedy doctors that President Obama said would take out a set of tonsils or cut off a set of foots, or a foot because of the fee schedule, came in at 1:30 in the morning and saved her life. 8 months later, when her heart's the size of a small plum, in 7 hours of open heart surgery, a team of dedicated professionals in a fabulous healthcare system that we have rebaffled the upper chamber of her heart. She's now 31 years old. Now she's a nurse practitioner. The reason my story has a happy ending is because my wife and I had the freedom, and that's the problem with Obamacare. It is the greatest assault on our freedom in my lifetime. We had the freedom to call up Boston Children's, Chicago Children's, and by the way, we just had a standard health care plan. I had the same health care that every one of the people that work with me had. Nothing special about it. We were able to access those miracles because of our health care system, and we did not have to totally remake America's health care system to take care of and provide the social safety net that we all agree on. I agree with President Obama. No American should go bankrupt because they get ill. But we didn't have to pass this monstrosity. We could have done it using high-risk pools. Now in the state of Wisconsin, those are obsolete. They're gone. The couple with cancer I was talking about, they could afford their high-risk pool insurance. Not anymore. They lost it. It's gone because of Obamacare. So sure, there are some people that have been advantaged by Obamacare. I admitted that. But they're advantaged of it because taxpayers are subsidizing them. And by the way, not really taxpayers. The debt on our kids and grandkids will pay for those subsidies. Or they're being subsidized by 27-year-old men and women in Wisconsin who are paying 124 and 78% higher premiums. That's why some people are advantaged, because somebody else is being disadvantaged. I objected to Obamacare because of the loss of freedom. I objected to it because I understand that when you actually pay for it by reducing payments to providers, you're going to have fewer providers. You're going to have less access. You will have rationing. The medical device tax, what has that resulted in? We're not really investing in medical device manufacturers anymore because it's too expensive. A 2.3% tax on gross sales, those companies are moving overseas. They will stop innovating. We won't see the types of miracles that originally that we could have had we not destroyed that type of innovation. So no, I didn't object to this because of the race of the president. I objected to this because it is an assault on our freedom. And Mr. Chairman, I have to admit, I've had a great deal of respect for you, but I'm the only one in the room, and I found it very offensive that you would basically imply that I'm a racist because I opposed this health care law. That is outrageous. And again, there are so many problems with health care. Mr. Chairman, I actually have a question for you because Senator Scott brought it up. I have heard, and I don't have it, I'm not going to quote a figure because I get PolitiFact checked all the time. I've heard alarming number of insurance agents that will lose their jobs because of this. Have you heard, do you know of any studies about that?
I don't believe there have been any studies yet, but in California, for example, there have been some reports in Los Angeles Times elsewhere about how hard agents worked to help enroll people in the coverage, and yet it's questionable whether or not they're going to be able to be paid, and many of them, you know, their office costs are fixed too. They may wind up not being able to continue to support this. And I do want to echo what you said about the overall goal, Senator, that I believe that the goals of getting coverage to everybody are the goals that in this wonderful society we live in is an absolutely important goal. But the question is, how do we do it?
And let me just conclude on how this thing was sold to the American people. It was a consumer fraud, a massive consumer fraud. This president looked at the American people and lied to them, bold-faced. If you like your health plan, you can keep it, period. If you like your doctor, you can keep it, period. Because of this wonderful plan, the average cost of a family plan was supposed to decline by $2,500. Hasn't it increased by $2,500? So the emails I'm getting, and by the way, they are not, as Senator Harry Reid said, coming from a bunch of liars. These are coming from real Wisconsinites. They're running about 150 to 1. Yeah, we're getting emails from people that have been advantaged by Obamacare. But 150 for every one that's been advantaged has been disadvantaged of it. And those are real people and those are real stories. So again, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I can only conclude that what you in your heart deeply want for the American people is to go back to the healthcare system that we had and to have a totally free enterprise. Let the insurance.
No, you are assuming the wrong thing, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I'm saying
you've implied that I'm a racist.
I have
now you're
not
saying
implied that
you want me to go back to a failed healthcare system. You're just incorrect.
That's very, very silly on your part. You're evidently satisfied with a lot of people not having health insurance. So long as
I am not. Quit making those assumptions. Quit saying I'm satisfied with that. I am not. There is another way of doing this. I'm happy to discuss it with you. I would have been happy to engage in the debate and pass a good health care law. As a matter of fact, I'm the one pushing a bill, if you like your health care plan, you can keep it act. I don't have any Democrat sponsors on that. I'm also working with Republican colleagues on preserving freedom and choice in health care. To preserve freedom and choice in health care. What a concept, huh? So no, please, don't assume, don't make implications of what I'm thinking and what I would really support. You have no idea.
I actually do, and God help you.
No, Senator, God help you for implying I'm a racist because I oppose this health care.
I did not imply that you're racist.
Let's play back the tape.
Well, we can do that, but we're not going to. You've lost your temper. I understand that. And
I was called a racist. I think most people would. I think most people would lose their temper, Mr. Chairman.
You were not called a racist.